Hey, this is Mr. Lucky. You all know me. This is the Following the Signs radio show. As you can tell, I'm going to give you a hint. I'm going to give you a clue. All right. Okay. Xavier. All right, so I'm Mr. Lucky, and I'm here with my two beautiful co-hosts.
Hi, Mr. Lucky.
Hey, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wow, okay. You look like you ready to give us a good show today.
I would hope so.
Okay, that sounds great. You know everybody knows Benita, Miss Benita Armistead.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, we're going to get back to Benita and talk about her book. She's going to give us a good illustration about her book, what it means, how she started this thing, and where it is now, and where you can pick it up at. And I also have today one of the most renowned teachers in the teaching industry, Mrs. Arnessa
Hopkins. Hello, everyone.
See, I know you by Arnessa Hopkins. I don't know. You might have changed your name and got married on me since from now.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
No.
Not yet. All right. I got to keep my eye on you. Now, listen, I want to have this discussion right now. I don't want to wait. I don't want to talk about it tomorrow. We talked about being your own superpower. Now, from a man's perspective, that means, get muscles, get strong, and do strong things. For a woman's perspective, give me a woman's perspective. To be your own superpower. What is that?
That is to be able to motivate yourself, even when you are feeling down about yourself. You can listen to motivational videos or go for a walk in the park or go to the gym and exercise that will help to uplift your spirits.
So what if it's a mugger out there? You got to be your own superhero.
Hopefully you're not going when it's dark outside.
You definitely need to be prepared for that.
So you in the daylight or what?
Yes, in the daylight.
Okay, in the daylight. We're going to go out in the daylight. Okay, yeah. So I'm a superpower now, right? I'm going out in the daylight. Now, I mean, how am I supposed to get along with myself here? I mean, am I supposed to be aggressive?
No, just be friendly and receptive to others when you come across them.
Yeah.
Today, I bumped into someone I used to go to school with, and they said hello, and I responded and said hello, how are you doing? And we just exchanged and went about our business.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And then y'all fought later.
No, I'm not a fighter.
All right, so I know in our community we always have to walk by each other, and we always, want to display our own superpowers and things, So that's why I wanted to open up this discussion, because women and men are different. They have different perspectives on things and different perspectives on life. But, clue in on me. I need to know. I mean,
I was good by listening to records and stuff like that, or old school records, or exercise and cleaning up at the same time.
Oh, that made you that made you feel your power, your strength.
Oh, for sure. When I can get ready to do what I'm supposed to do at home, of course.
Okay.
And music does motivate me for real.
Oh, okay.
I like
because I know a girl puts on power earrings, and I know that's when I know a woman that wears her power colors on when she goes out. You know what I mean? Can you give me some clue in on this?
That's a good one too.
Is that what you guys do?
Too. Not me.
Doing makeup, putting on pretty clothes and stuff like that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I like to wear jewelry like amethyst or obsidian, some type of jewelry that. The tiger's eye. You guys ever heard of those names?
Mm-hmm. I have.
Yes.
Where you hear from?
I don't remember. I've heard of the name.
I just want to know who told you about tiger's eyes and amethyst stones that we wear, when we want to be our own powerful selves. We want to try to
listen to tarot.
To tarot?
Zodiacs. Mm-hmm.
Zodiacs?
Astrology.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess we touched base on that fine enough. All right. So let me move on a little further and faster.
Yay.
Miss Benita wrote a book. I think we talked about it one of the other times when I was here. So Miss Benita wrote a book. It's a book about her life story. And I just want to just look right into the microphone and say, we all need to write a book about ourselves. I think the most interesting thing we can ever learn is what we know about ourselves, the deepness that comes from it. And I don't want to hog the conversation. So, Miss Benita, what's the name of your book again? Can you give us a little bit?
It's called Growth.
Speak to the microphone, because it's
called Growth. As a child, as a teenager, as a grown ASS woman. My bad. I didn't want to cuss. So.
Don't you do it.
Definitely did.
Hey,
want
look,
to.
we got a 270-pound bouncer up in here. Okay.
We ain't gonna mess with him.
No, we don't. We don't mess with him. We don't mess with him at all. All right, here we go. Listen, before we get started, let me just say something. So spring is right around the corner, and so don't get caught taking your car to an unqualified car shop. Mr. Lucky, I recommend that you take your car to Touch Above Auto, where you can find affordable, fair pricing, professional service, and call them at 862-1841. And it's located on 2530 Hamilton Avenue, St. Clair. Just ask for Don. Now, here we go. Your book was inspired was it to motivate yourself or to motivate others, or was it to motivate the people on the street? I mean, tell me about what motivated you to write this book.
Practically all that you said was true, but mostly myself, and just to get it out my head and my heart. That's how I felt about writing this book. I was going through some struggles on my own, so I'm like, well, let me just start here from the beginning and work myself back to where I'm at now, and then just finish some more and help somebody else when I'm finished doing that.
Okay, so actually you wrote this book to help, therapeutically help yourself and younger people,
Yeah,
right?
It could go for older people too as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't know much about it. Let me see. Let me ask you a couple questions about your book. Unless you got any questions, because I know you read the book.
Yes. My first question is, how were you able to overcome your addiction?
I'd like to know that too, up close. Yeah.
For one thing, well, what I had did was look in the mirror at myself while doing that, for one thing, too. And another thing is, like, looking at other people, and just so senseless, like, you know what I'm saying, for me to go through that kind of struggle like that. And I just felt like, then my kids, you know, growing up and stuff like that, it made me more, like, older and better than the person that I was than now.
I understand, yeah. But I need you, because I understand that, but we got listeners that's looking at you right now. Mm-hmm. There's children that's looking at you, and they would like to know, what is it about the way you handled the situation of your life, and in putting that on paper, how did that resonate with your personality going forward? I mean, just tell you talking to a little girl sitting here.
I kept being working and stuff like that, staying positive and doing what I had to do for me and my children and my house. Just make sure that I would get my kids fed what they need to have, and it was a struggle for real, truly a struggle. So, in order for me to do that, I had to keep being around positive people. Listen to my dad. My mom had died and stuff like that, so I couldn't go to nobody but my dad. But, you know. And he asked me to be a nurse, and I told him no, but I wound up being a nurse anyway. So.
Okay. So that was your motive, that you really wanted to impress your father.
Yeah. He asked me, well, it's funny to me, though, because he would say, oh, you're going to be a dummy all your life? I'm like, no. He said, well, you got to straighten it up. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to do that, but I'm not going to be a nurse. And sure enough, that's what I did. I did post office like he did. Okay. I was a nurse like he asked me to. I even delivered mail. I worked in stuff at hotels and stuff like that, doing housekeeping. Mm-hmm. I did a lot of stuff here in Ohio. I came from Detroit to here.
Okay.
My dad stayed in Longwood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's the kind of music I like right there. That's yours?
Yes.
Okay. Could you turn that on?
Yes, okay. I am.
Thank you. So this was just a little pause, and I wanted to take that music to let you know that it's Black History Month, and what we're celebrating in Black History Month is not just the bongos, but it's the rhythm. And I think I don't want to have a conversation because, you know, Mr. Lucky, he always talking, he talks too far. But let's harness the rhythm of our lives right now. Let's harness the rhythm of our community. Harness the rhythm of our relationship with our loved one. It's Valentine's Day, but that's the indication of a heart. And a heart beats two beats, not just one. It beats for you, and it also beats for your mate. Anessa, give us some. I need to know more about this book. I mean, you got any questions? Open this up.
And then I used to do daycare for like 15 years. I stayed in King Kennedy. Stuff like that, you know, help other kids do their homework, motivate them, you know, ask them, you know, when they come in, you know, we play, we have something to do, and I made a list all the time for how to eat and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And our boss used to give us that kind of nutritional stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fun though. I think they really liked it because they didn't ever want to go home.
Well, okay, go ahead. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another question. A lot of people are afraid to associate with people who are on drugs. What made you willing to associate with people that were addicted to drugs?
Because they were my family, mostly. I would deal with them.
Oh, okay. So they weren't like strangers you
No,
knew?
not really.
Okay.
So it's just like.
But they had friends as well too, that would call us family too, because they would come over and talk and not feed them and stuff like that, and we, do different things like playing cards. There's a lot of things you can take off your mind besides that. And I feel like if you don't do that, then you can't be apart.
Okay.
Okay. Are you still with I was reading, are you still with the gentleman that you were with, like, in the beginning when he started doing drugs, or
No, he's deceased.
Deceased? Okay. Sorry to hear
How long
that.
were you with that guy? Because it's.
Yeah.
Shoot,
how
I've
long
been
were you
with
him?
Kurt since 1985. He died 2007.
I don't mean to ask you. How did your relationship last so long, being in that type of situation?
Because I wanted to stick and stay and show myself I could do better.
So, what would you tell a younger person listening to you right now about staying with a drug addicted or staying in a drug addicted situation with a drug addicted person in a drug addicted environment and surrounding yourself around?
If you love somebody, you care for them. You help them out.
But what would you tell them? Would you tell them to keep going in that same direction? Would you tell them to walk away and do better?
No.
Would they go to rehab? What would they do, man?
I would say rehab is a good one.
Okay.
And then, sometimes, my husband got locked up and stuff. And when he did get locked up, he got locked up for alcohol and drug abuse.
Okay.
So when he went to court, they had the machine in our house that he had to blow into.
Okay.
And he couldn't drink for like 2 years. So I told him, once you do this program and stuff, after these 2 years, I'll make sure to help you get your truck or car or something like that.
So you stood by his.
Yes, I sure did.
You're a beautiful person. So let me just say something. So I would like to let you know that we're broadcasting live from the Block Podcast Network. Block is a wonderful foundation organization. It's built on our future, which is building business leaders of tomorrow today. Okay, that's really interesting. I've never heard it like that before.
Yeah,
so I got one last good.
somebody, you would help them out for real. If you really truly love them, you would bypass all the other stuff, especially if they're a good person in heart, and you know that already.
That's true, but it's so many children that have loved and have found that love don't love them back. And in an addicted situation, to replace the love that you're not getting from the individual, you'll find that you'll start loving the addiction. Like you'll start loving the alcohol. You'll start loving the drugs. So, love is a kind of a word that's a double-edged sword when it comes to addiction. If I was to look at it in my hindsight.
Well, my children told me too that I never hugged them enough too. So
there you go. There you go.
Right there.
Drugs stop you from showing emotion.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
I never hugged them like I supposed to, like I do now. I say that, or show them, or tell them stuff that I need them to know.
Yeah.
Personally.
I can't say I have ever done drugs. You ever done drugs in this one?
No.
I think I did drugs. Only drug I did was drug myself through life. I was a big druggie. So here's a question that I have for you.
Okay.
But before I ask this question, I want everybody to stop at Lucky Charms and Supplies to purchase their raffle tickets to help us support our Lavender Project. Our Lavender Project, the drawing is in April 30th. The first prize is $50. So I need to know this, Anessa. God is a wonderful being in his presence on earth. Amen. But, I know that when you're addicted to drugs, when you're addicted, have addicted personality, Anessa, you may know this too, because I know you go to church every Sunday. What part of it do you give God the praise? Is it before you do the drugs, when you get the drugs, or after you do the drugs? Because at some point, you're praising God. Now, I knew a dude that don't get me wrong, he found a pipe on the ground, and he said, "Thank you, God." Okay? So I know God plays a heavy part in our adapting. I don't mean to take the conversation. I'm going to let you ladies talk. But let's give some praise to our ability to see past our problems and not know that or believe or feel that God is giving us permission to do that. How do you feel about that?
I think that God looks at the people that has more of a problem than the people that really have a lesser problem myself. I think so.
How do you explain that? What are you saying? I mean,
Well, for one thing, I'd say, I don't know. It's like a lot of people out here now. They got Social Security checks, all that kind of stuff. They're spending on drugs and drugs alone or whatever. So somehow they're still looking out. God is still looking out for them to do whatever they do, and still not getting caught or getting their money taken, because that's where it's mostly going to. And that's a shame that people do that. I was struggling. I hadn't got no money for a long, long time. I used to sit back and think about that kind of stuff. You know, people out here doing this. I don't have no money, but I was supposed to get my money. My husband died, and I ain't had no money. You know, they took all his money and then took mine too at the same time. So it's like, it was just, I'm like, Lord, why would you do that? Let them have that, and I couldn't have anything. You know, it's like two-handed here. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's hard to understand that, but that's what I think he does. He look out for people that's more, you know, not good enough for something than he would a regular person that's really struggling out here. We have to struggle hard. The people that want to really do something, to me, that's how I feel.
So God looks out more for people who are just coming out than people who are struggling.
Say incompetent, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, God's going to look out for people who's just coming out, but you have to understand too, you know, that God can only work so many miracles.
I understand.
I mean,
that.
He wants to I kind of sense that. I'm not going to say that like that. I kind of sense that a lot of the lessons on this planet has to do with us and not God.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And I think when you need that
we're
guiding light,
we're the walkers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can always ask directions, and I think that's where God comes in. But that walk, I think I kind of sense that it's our own walk. What do you think, Anessa? Come on, give me some feedback.
I feel that it's your own walk. I feel that you have to watch as well as pray. You have no control over what might happen in your life. It's already determined, but you have to watch as well as pray. And just keep going. Just don't get depressed on your situation. Just keep going.
Now, whose phone is that?
That's not me.
Oh, that's not me.
That's you.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah. So we rounded the corner here, you know, and our young people, when they say that they're off drugs, maybe sometimes because they found a better drug. You know, we're in a system that is constantly trying to find a way to ease the pressures that they put on us every day in life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when we know God is the answer, we also have to realize that strength to ask God for the answer. Ask God. It doesn't come out of your misery. It comes out of your ability to achieve. Mm. When you ask for God, be sure you're ready to take that next step to be something. A lot of people want to say God while they're in a sewer hole or laying on the ground on their face. Want to say, God, help, yeah. God, remove these bars. Okay. Yeah, that's not the time. When you're ready to stand up and look what we're talking about today. What is the name of this thing? To be your own superpower. You know, it's like God would be what it takes to have that superpower. But I'm not going to stay on that because our ability to write a book or to understand our life, it comes from experiencing the ups and the downs. I know we all have been up in that position.
Achievements.
Anessa, you got a master's degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, and live in a gated community.
I don't live in a gated community. Stop saying that.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we all know that when it comes to a superpower, we look at education as being the formula for having a super ability to do something. So I mean, what do you think? If give me some illustration. I mean, how was that? How was it going to be able to go to school from your perspective?
Being able to go to school was very enlightening. I'll tell any young person that going on and furthering your education, going to college will help you. It helps to align your mind and helps you to bring in new ideas and very different new ideas. You learn different things. You interact with different people. It's very helpful. Some people, they don't want to do it, but I feel that's very helpful, and that is you can go back and then inspire other people. Once you finish school, you can go back and mentor other people.
That sounds great. Let me ask you a question. It's something I've really been wanting to know. Mm-hmm. So how is it that you can get an education and not be on drugs? I mean, because 90%. I mean, college is full of drug addicts. No, not literally. Everyone in college is not on drugs.
Yeah.
But it kind of seems like it's a sort of a connection there, some type of way. So, what kept you from? What helped you to achieve your heights as this in getting your education, and also staying away from those kind of drugs that soothe you and lay you back.
Alcohol is a drug too.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I tell you what, if you abuse orange juice, it's a drug. Okay?
You stupid.
Thank you. So let's talk about all of our addictions.
I was motivated, like from my background. I'll talk about it briefly. I was motivated from my mother. Well, both of my parents motivated me to go on to school. When I was younger, I attended private school, so that motivated me also. But my brother, he was the first one in our family of all of the grandchildren to finish school. So then the other ones would want to follow in his footsteps.
Oh, so that sounds like you had a lot of competition in your family. Did you guys ever compete for love?
No, my parents loved all of us. I come from a 2-parent household, but my parents showed me a lot of love. Me and all of my siblings. I didn't want for anything. I always have food, clothes, and shelter. I don't know, like
gated community.
No, I don't know what it's like to not have food or not have water.
You want to know?
No, I'm saying I don't know what that is like. I have empathy for people that are in those type of situations.
Bless your heart.
I've never been in that type of situation. Except for one time, one of my parents forgot to pay the bill. Then the lights were off, but that's a different situation.
I know what. As you know what, to think about when the lights cut off is not as bad as in a lot of homes as it is in homes that are used to having their lights turned off.
Yeah.
See, when you're in a home like. When you're in different homes, when they turn the lights off, it's just like another day. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You don't run around saying the lights is off. Everybody already know that. They know why. Okay.
Right.
All right. So where are we now? I must have left off somewhere. It's a question I didn't ask, or is it something? Oh yeah, the general population. How were you embraced by the general population when you talk about your book and talk about the things that have gone on in your life that's got you in this position that you're in today, which is an upstanding, beautiful woman.
Thank you.
That is very accomplished and very admired and loved by your family.
Well, like I said, I've done a lot of things here in Cleveland since I've been here. I was working at the post office. I did nursing. I had my own daycare, actually.
Oh, wow.
For like 15 years. And I did mentoring. I teach 2nd and 3rd grade here. I've done a lot of things.
This is after
here.
you got off drugs.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But my preference was really alcohol, for real.
Okay.
I ain't gonna tell that story.
Well, you know, every new year, it's the start and the stop for a lot of people. Some people start drinking, and some people say they'll never take another drink.
Right, that's what they say.
So it's an off and on deal when it comes to alcohol. I don't see anything difficult about smashing a grape every now and then. Hey, sangria! So, would your addiction also cross the line into cigarettes? Let's move on into addiction a little bit, man.
Oh, well, yeah, I still smoke cigarettes. I'm trying to work away from that, too. It's
yeah?
hard, because those cigarettes cost like $10 or more. Like, nope. I would go into the white neighborhood to go get some cigarettes. My bad.
Well, I mean, I don't know what lasts the longer. Your addiction for a cigarette? Now it's my turn.
Dun.
Oh, God. Is it for your addiction for a cigarette? Would it be for addiction for a cigarette, or would it be addiction for
To just
not a
buy 'em,
cigarette?
is that what you mean?
Well, no. I mean, if you have an addiction, right? So you have an addiction for a cigarette, and if that does that addiction transpire over into the drug addiction too?
No.
So in that case, you know, instead of having to have $10, you need $20. You know, I kind of sense that.
Not with me.
There it is. Okay. All right.
Well, I'll say no. When I used to drink alcohol, I would want a cigarette too. I'd say that. I would definitely say that.
All
It
right.
enhances the program.
Okay. Brings it to reality.
Yes.
Brings that point. Okay, so you know, Following the Signs and is a nonprofit. Our mission is to change our community for the better by giving people a useful, informative, showing of how they should use the information that we give. And basically today is the information we're giving is about how to start your life by writing your life and putting down on paper things that you want people to know about you.
Or themselves.
Is that
Or
what
it
you
could
mean?
happen to them too, yeah. And
Wait a minute,
then
now,
they're
wait.
never telling it. I feel like that too.
Tell me what you're talking about.
I mean, say if I was writing, like I'm writing a book now, something like I'm writing in my book, something happened to them, someone else, we don't have to know who they are and they just won't tell it. You know, it's hard for people to put it on paper instead and writing it down and telling somebody. It's different. It's a big difference there.
I think so. It's like texting. Yeah, you can say something, but it's even better in a book.
Right, on paper.
What do they say about black people? If you want to hide something, put it in a book,
Put it in a
right?
book.
But that's the old terms. Today,
Right.
we open up books and we write
Text and
books.
TikTok up in here.
Yeah,
These days, 2023, they TikToking it,
TikTok and
Facebooking
Yep.
it.
all day long. So as again, I repeat, we're broadcasting live from the Blot Podcast Network, and we enjoyed ourselves today and welcoming our new friend, Miss Arnessa. Hopefully, she'll be back next couple weeks, and she'll tell us more about her experiences and her life going forward. We've learned a lot from Miss Benita, and we're going to learn more. So again, I say thank you to my guests, Miss Benita
You're
Armistead
very welcome.
and Miss
And congratulations
Arnessa
for you.
Hopkins.
And nice to meet you.
Both of you ladies are beautiful today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Thank
hey,
you.
come on. Something you want to say real quick? You want to say hi to somebody? Shout out to your sister or something? Come on, give us a shout out, Nessa.
Hello, Kim.
Now, Kim, what do you think? Benita?
I just say hello to everybody and be safe.
Yeah,
All
hello to
right. So I
everyone.
say the same. I'd like to thank our producer, this wonderful guy who inspires us all every week.
At BBLTT.
Gives us more motivation. So I guess I can say thank you for participating, and I'll meet and greet next week. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye-bye.